New satellite images suggest that China may have begun the process of building its newest nuclear-powered Type 004 super aircraft carrier. At least, that's what observers are saying. Although there are many discrepancies between what's seen in the images and the standard construction process for such a warship. The main suspicions are that the photos show a flight deck module, which suggests that this may be just a test module, i.e. construction may not have started yet. According to experts in the field, the image does indeed show a test module, but according to others, this is not the case. Well, you all know how skeptical I am usually, but this could actually be proof for the first time that 004 is under construction, writes at rubric_A on his X account, which closely follows what is happening in the Chinese military industry. Huron, another observer of the Chinese military industry, noticed that one of the photos featured a full-size mock-up of the J-15 carrier-based fighter. This could be our very first look at Type 004 Chinese nuclear carrier modules at Dalian. Even J-15 mock-up is there, Huron wrote. China's apparent construction of its first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the Type 004, represents a monumental shift in naval power dynamics and a significant technological leap for the People's Liberation Army Navy, PLAN. Recent satellite imagery and reports suggest that the vessel has appeared at the Dalian shipyard, signaling that China may be advancing its carrier program at a rapid pace. However, there is no definitive evidence that China has abandoned plans for a second Type 003 class carrier. If true, this development could dramatically alter the strategic landscape of the Indo-Pacific and beyond. A nuclear-powered aircraft carrier grants the PLAN an unprecedented level of operational endurance and power projection. Unlike conventionally powered carriers, which rely on fossil fuels and require regular refueling, a nuclear carrier can operate almost indefinitely, limited only by food, supplies, and crew endurance. This allows for extended deployments far from Chinese shores, reinforcing Beijing's ambitions to establish itself as a true blue water navy capable of sustaining global operations. The United States has long benefited from this capability with its Nimitz and Ford-class carriers, and China's push to join this elite club signals its intent to challenge U.S. naval dominance on a much broader scale. The decision to accelerate the development of Type 004 is equally significant. The Type 003, known as Fujian, represents China's transition from ski jump carriers to electromagnetic catapult-assisted takeoff, similar to the technology used on America's Ford-class carriers. However, despite its advancements, the Type 003 remains conventionally powered, limiting its endurance and requiring significant logistics support to sustain long-range operations. By fast-tracking the development of a nuclear-powered carrier, China is demonstrating confidence in its ability to leapfrog conventional carrier limitations and accelerate the maturation of its naval aviation capabilities. Nevertheless, there is no concrete evidence that the PLAN has decided to forego a second Type 003 in favor of Type 004. Both classes may be developed concurrently. The strategic implications of a nuclear-powered Chinese supercarrier are profound. First and foremost, it provides Beijing with a platform capable of sustained operations in the Pacific, Indian Ocean, and beyond, reducing its dependence on regional bases and logistical hubs. This is particularly critical in a potential Taiwan contingency, where China would seek to deter U.S. and Allied intervention by establishing persistent carrier strike group presence near contested waters. A nuclear-powered carrier would allow the PLAN to maintain pressure over extended timeframes, reinforcing its growing anti-access area denial (A2, AD) capabilities and complicating U.S. strategic calculations. Beyond Taiwan, The deployment of Type 004 would extend Chinese power projection into key maritime choke points such as the Malacca Strait, the South China Sea, and even the Persian Gulf. The ability to sustain carrier operations in these regions would enhance China's influence over global trade routes and energy security, challenging the traditional dominance of the U.S. Navy and its allies. Given that nearly one-third of global maritime trade passes through the South China Sea, Beijing's ability to deploy a nuclear carrier in the region would further cement its claims and deter potential adversaries. The technological ramifications of Type 04's development extend beyond the carrier itself. A successful nuclear-powered carrier program would likely translate into advancements in nuclear propulsion systems for other naval assets, including next-generation Chinese submarines and surface combatants. The U.S. has long leveraged nuclear propulsion for its most advanced warships, and China's pursuit of similar technology suggests it aims to modernize its fleet in ways that could fundamentally shift the balance of naval power in the coming decades. If China can master the complex engineering required for a nuclear carrier, it is plausible that it will soon develop nuclear-powered cruisers or destroyers, further enhancing its expeditionary capabilities. The emergence of a Chinese nuclear supercarrier will inevitably provoke a response from the United States and its regional allies. Washington has already intensified efforts to bolster its naval presence in the Pacific, increasing cooperation with Japan, Australia, and India under initiatives like the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue (Quad) and the AUKUS Security Pact. The U.S. Navy's deployment of carrier strike groups to the region is expected to become even more frequent as it seeks to counter China's expanding military footprint. Additionally, countries like Japan and South Korea may accelerate their own carrier programs, potentially seeking nuclear propulsion capabilities to maintain parity with China's growing fleet. The key question remains how quickly China can bring Type 004 into operational service. Developing a nuclear-powered carrier is an extraordinarily complex endeavor, requiring not just advanced shipbuilding capabilities but also a highly trained nuclear engineering workforce and comprehensive support infrastructure. The U.S. Navy took decades to perfect nuclear carrier operations, and while China has a track record of rapid technological advancement, it will still face significant challenges in reactor design, propulsion efficiency, and long-term maintenance. Nevertheless, the rapid appearance of the Type 004 at the Dalian shipyard suggests that China is progressing at an aggressive pace. If the PLAN can field a fully operational nuclear carrier within the next decade, it would mark a historic milestone, solidifying China's position as a global naval power capable of contesting U.S. supremacy on the high seas. Whether this vessel ultimately meets expectations or faces setbacks, its development is a clear signal that Beijing is committed to reshaping the balance of maritime power in the 21st century.